All right, we are back. Fall camp is right around the corner. Dogs have a huge recruiting weekend, having a really nice July as far as recruiting goes. There's a lot of storylines. Texas and Oklahoma are in the conference. Georgia has a road game against Texas. We'll talk about all of that, some fall camp storylines. Keep it locked. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Happy late summer evening here on the Believe in Georgia Dogs podcast on the Believe Network. Joining me is my man, offensive coordinator at Thomasville High School, Israel Troop. Man, what's going on, bud?
What's up, brother? Glad to be back. It's been busy, school, football, life in general, but it's good to be back. I'm looking forward to the season. It snuck up on us fast. I feel like summer went by so fast. So, football's back finally. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun things to watch, especially coming from the SEC.
Oh yeah, it's good. There's a lot of storylines out there just around the conference in general. But I mean, hell, Georgia's got plenty of them as well. So we're gonna get into all of that. But before we do, we are presented by BetOnline.ag. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything online sports betting. Right now, you can receive a 50% free bet of up to $250 on your first deposit to bet on anything from the Olympics, baseball, to Formula One racing. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. So when the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in a game of blackjack or poker, or maybe you can unwind with one of the 150 slot games. So head to the website today and get in on the action. Use promo code BELIEVE for your 50% free bet credit on your first deposit of up to $250. BetOnline, the game starts here. So lots of storylines, lots of camp stuff. You've moved into a new location. You are no longer a Gator, which is, I'm sure, a relief for you to not have to say "Go Gators." I know it was a really good. I know it was a really good place for you. I know you had a really good experience there. But Thomasville, so far, you guys have been, from what you've been telling me, the way Georgia does things is amazing with all these OTAs that you guys get to have full padded practices with other teams, which is so valuable. How's that that has to elevate the level of play in the state of Georgia by being able to do that? Is that a South Georgia thing, or does Atlanta teams take advantage of that too? Does everybody kind of do that?
It's pretty much all Georgia. So this past week, last week we kind of went to Blakely County. Amarius Mims was there. Amarius Mims is from Blakely County, so he was there. I got to see him again. But it's really an advantage for us because you get tired of hitting on each other every day. So you get to go to at least two padded camps. It's just shells, but you get to go against different teams and see different schemes and stuff. And really for us, it's more of a physicality point because obviously at practice you're not hitting on each other. You can't wear pads during the summertime, but the OTAs you can at least wear uppers, shoulder pads and stuff. So it's a good time to get timing down. Offensive linemen can work on blocking, things like that against people with shoulder pads on. So it's really an advantage. So like Valdosta, they went up to North Gwinnett. So different teams have it, just depending on what team wants to host it. And you get a plethora of teams. So with us it was veterans. It was a really good program out of Macon, Houston County, Jones County, Fitzgerald, who's actually in our region, Cedartown, where Nick Chubb's from. They played for state in 2022. So you get a very good group of teams, different schemes, different style of play. So you see everything from the spread to power I formation to the wing T. So you get to see a bunch of different schemes and stuff, kind of prepare you for the season, depending on who you're playing and things like that.
Yeah, That's so valuable, man. Like those jamboree style workday type practices are
Mhm.
unbelievable, man. We had a couple of work days when I was coaching that that we took part in, and those were amazing because like it was against somebody else. The intensity was ratcheted up a little bit. The focus was there. Like you saw a lot of good work. So man, that's phenomenal, man. But dude, I heard you on the I heard you on the Sun Sports podcast. How was that experience? That was a nice little episode there.
Yeah, man, that's my man, Coach Lamb. I met Coach Lamb back in like 2014, back when I first started coaching, and he's been a very loyal friend to me, a great mentor because he's been around the block a couple times. So if ever I have an issue or if I have a question, I can always lean on him. He hosts a podcast, Sun Coaches Podcast, and all he does is interview coaches, and kind of get different perspectives of everything. I was part of the young group that he says that's coming through. So he does a really good job of helping coaches, young and old. And it's good to get a different perspective from all the coaches that's been in it, and guys like myself, and Coach Jones that's at Cambridge, coordinators trying to get their feet wet and things like that, in this league. So I enjoyed it. He's like I said, he's a really good friend of mine, and he does a really really phenomenal job of just helping coaches. And that's one thing that we need, and one thing that you see, even in college football. On Saturdays they hate each other, but I mean they really do like talk to each other all the time.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because when you got to evolve, culture change and things like that. Because no idea is just one of their own. They got it from somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. And and it's just a competitive spirit there with them hating each other because like they're all going to need each other at some point. You're going to need a reference here, a reference there, or a hook up there, hook up there. So like it's never good to burn bridges. But I mean, just on that show alone, like I went into it was like, oh, I'm gonna check out my guy Israel, man. See what he's up to. And then I ended up listening to like 4 other episodes.
That's how you get hooked, man. You're like, oh, this is pretty good.
Like, this guy's pretty good, man. This guy's pretty fascinating. I forget the guys' names, but like the guy that was at Bluntstown, and he just left Bluntstown. He was actually he was hilarious, dude. He was absolutely hilarious.
You gotta listen to the man, Rocky Hidalgo too. He's the head coach at Glenn Academy. If you haven't listened to him, I mean, I want to get to a point in my life where I can do and say the things that he does, because it is absolutely hilarious.
Where was he before? Why do I recognize that name?
He was at Walton for a long time.
That's right. That's where. Okay, that's right. So yeah, so that was a lot of fun. But fall camp's right around the corner for Georgia, and I know there's a lot of things. There's a lot of questions, right? And when you hear the word questions, you're probably thinking, oh boy, questions. Like what questions does Georgia possibly have? They're good questions. They're good problems to have. Yeah. Like how do you replace the alien that is Brock Bowers? Like what? Yeah. Like, like that's probably on a lot of people's minds when they look at Georgia's offense. They automatically think, well, this offense is probably not going to be as good because Brock Bowers is not there. He's not your safety net. But like, just as well as I do, just as well as Coach Bobo knows, you just kind of shift things around a little bit. Like you're not going to have 6'5", 230 coming across the middle that can run, 30 miles an hour, but you do have other weapons and you are going to utilize people in other ways. So like there's plenty of talent there. It's just going to look different, which different is not always bad.
Absolutely. If you haven't played the new NCAA football game, Oscar Depp is an absolute beast on it.
Do you have it or have you just played it? Uh-oh.
He's a very large human being.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Did I lose you? I think I lost you. He's frozen, boys. You there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, I think he had frozen up there for a second.
Oscar Depp. We're not going to skip a beat with Oscar Depp. I mean,
no, I don't think so.
He's not as fast as Brock Bowers, but I mean, he's just as big, just as physical. We played multiple tight end sets anyway. So I think he's the missing. I think he's the link that we've been missing. That we're going to miss with Brock Bowers. That's going to help us. We'll find a receiver. We just need one to step up because you're going to miss Lad McConkey and Raw. So, it's just things like that, for us, for the outside world, it's like, well, what are we going to do without this guy? And for us as coaches, we're like, well, next man up. And I think, with Carson Beck taking those guys down to Jacksonville and getting that work in with them, building that chemistry, I think we're just going to keep rolling. I mean, and for us, 2024 is unfinished business. So I don't think that's going to be an issue at all.
No, it's not at all. I think it, if everything plays out like it should, Georgia has obviously the best roster in all of college football. So if everything plays out like it should, and Georgia plays clean like they should, they stay relatively injury-free or suspension-free as they should, sky's the limit. I mean, it's 12-0 city, playoff hosting, getting the first round bye. All that stuff is well in play if this roster plays the way that it's capable of playing. I mean, Trevor Etienne is exciting.
Mm-hmm.
He is exciting. A back. He's somebody that can take it the distance. He can hurt you in so many different ways. I'm excited about him and what he can do, and just the element he adds to the offense.
Absolutely. We've been missing that breakaway guy since I think Swift left. The guy that can just take it the distance. I think he's the guy that can do it. You got Robinson that's going to play behind him. We got some guys that were injured, this spring that are going to come out. Hopefully, kind of, get going a little bit. So, with ETN coming, I think that just adds a little bit more experience in that room that we've been missing.
Yeah.
That we need, especially this year. Going into a new offensive line that's pretty much brand new. But at the same time, I mean, our signal caller's back, and I mean that's the most important part. He's got some veterans, around him, that can help it. That'll keep him going. Coach Bubba is going to come up with a great scheme. The whole coaching staff is as well. Yeah. So, it's just one of those things to where just stay the course, and it's just basically just do your job offensively. And I think we'll score a lot of points. We'll beat a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, it's so like part of offensive line play is having an experienced quarterback that can help get you in the right protections. Like if you have a relatively inexperienced line that's not great at making those calls, the quarterback can come in and supersede that. That's extremely valuable. And I know as a play caller, you would definitely, and you and Bobo probably think a lot alike now. You probably didn't realize that when you were playing for him, but you really think a lot alike in the way that, you're creative. You understand that, hey, if these guys, I would love for my offensive line to be able to make these calls, but if they can't, my quarterback is equipped to be able to get us into the right protections, things like that. So when you have veterans all around you, you have outlets, you have things to get around that inexperience on the offensive line and things that can keep defenses off balance.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's one thing that this game has evolved so much to where defenses aren't staying the same. They're bringing different coverages. They're bringing many people playing with just three linemen straight up, just blitzing everybody. And you're getting more of a man coverage this in this game now, where you have to be creative. A lot of crossing routes, a lot of different formations. One thing I learned from Steve Spurrier, is how many different formations can I run the same play. I think that's what Coach Bubba is doing now with the condensed formations, winding you out, motions and things like that. It's the same thing. You know what I mean? So the evolution of time and technology now has made the game a lot easier offensively to where, we're not sitting in meetings all day. Actually, which is really cool. They get the game plan, the playbook and everything through their iPads now to where meetings only last 30 minutes so you're on the field. You know what I mean? So there's so much that's going on with the game right now that's making it, I wouldn't say easier, but it's making it a lot more
efficient
now, offensively, because everything we do is dictated on what the defense does anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, for us, it's an advantage for us, us offensive guys, to be able to have that thing at our disposal. But at the end of the day, It all comes down to your Jimmys and Joes. What can you run? How can you be efficient? If they can't do it, then don't do it. You know what I
Right.
mean? You got to come up with stuff they can do. Right now, we're taking the Todd Monken offense that he put in, and Coach Bobo's kind of made it his own. And we haven't skipped the beat yet.
No, we haven't. Absolutely not. And you mentioned this word, technology. There's new rules in college football. You can have technology. You have the earpiece in the helmet, which is awesome, and you have the iPads on the
Mhm.
sideline. Something that I talked about, and I vowed that I was going to talk to you about this, because if the low to no budget high schools in South Georgia can have huddle sideline, there is no reason they can't figure out a way for the University of Buffalo to have some sort of sideline technology with tablets or iPads. And so I think, to me, it's a game changer. And the helmet stuff, yes and no. I mean, it's more insignificant than the iPads. The idea of being able to call a play into Carson's ear is valuable, and the idea of going to a more check with me system
Mhm.
is pretty cool, where Bobo can say, right before the play clock hits 15, he can say, "All right, throw it to Rah here," boom, and then you see it unfold. But the sideline stuff and the unlimited coaches, so all these analysts, all these quality control guys on the sideline, they're going to have iPads. They're going to be able to pull players. They're going to be able to have you're going to see the TVs on the sidelines now. It's coming, like you would see it, probably your school. Do you have the TVs at your school?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So you'll probably start to see that too. Um, so I think it's awesome. Like, I think the information that's going to be relayed is going to be incredible. The amount of information and the quality of the information that you can relay now because of iPads and playback is going to be that much more. So I think you're going to see coaching talent really start to excel. And you're going to see also a great divide of the guys who are pretenders and the guys who can actually do it, because now you're going to have to do it because of the advanced technology. There's no guessing anymore. Like, you're going to see it. You're going to see the tendencies play out.
Mm-hmm. There's no more guessing games, now, and I think everybody's all up in arms about college using tablets and things like that. So basically, we're getting to the point to where it's NFL rules now, because NFL has the snapshots of everything. They don't really have video,
No,
but they
they
have
do.
the
They have the Surface Pros.
yeah. So does that play video too, or is
I
it
think
just a
so.
snapshot of
No,
everything?
I think it's video.
So I mean, that's basically what college football is moving to. You know what I mean? So you go from high school being able to use video to college not being able to use it. It's kind of a disadvantage for kids, and coaches who've been using this thing forever. And you go to the NFL and you get to use it. So basically, everybody's just kind of following the same mold. I just wish they'd go the same thing with knee pads in high school, but that's neither here nor there. But you're,
Are
you're
the, is it the knee pad police in high school?
yeah, it's the
Is
knee
it real
pad.
bad down there?
It's bad. It is bad. Like the knee pad really protects anything. It doesn't. It's just there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyways, but now you're going to see how well coaches have evolved. How well can you coach? Can you coach on the fly? Or do you have competent people paying attention to catch these things as you go? Having unlimited coaches is the key, because everybody has a job. Everybody is assigned to something. Now, to make everything one efficient. And make your team better. It makes practice better, makes the games better, things like that. So I'm looking forward to that, and, the helmet, deal, I'm fine with it, because some teams still hold it, some teams don't, and it takes the element of surprise away offensively, because people aren't guessing anymore of what's going on. And, as a defensive minded person, it makes it hard on them. It makes it hard on the defense now, because now the coordinator can talk to that guy, and you don't really have to signal. You can just, it's basically a guessing game now, which really makes it fun. It's basically like you're playing a video game now, for real.
Yeah. I mean, the defense has it too. The defense will have the comms too. So they'll be able to, but it's harder because they're more reactionary. So it's
Yeah,
hard. It'll be harder for them. So
kind of make it a
I,
lot more fun. Can't steal signals and things like that
I,
anymore, buddy.
I don't know that it's going to help the defense a whole lot. Um, it'll probably be much of the same. But at least they'll have the iPads to figure out formation tendencies in real time. So I'm here for it, man. And as I've always said, if freaking give me the poorest school in South Georgia.
You know, any the poorest school can have huddle and huddle sideline. You know, anybody should be able to get it.
Yeah, and this would have been this would have been a great opportunity for Huddle to be like, hey, we're going to get into the college game.
Yeah.
And really just up their value. Because I mentioned that they're like, colleges aren't using Huddle. It's like, well, small like FCS schools are using Huddle. There's a lot of schools that use Huddle.
Yeah, I mean it's.
I bet Georgia uses Huddle, not necessarily for games, but
it's a very valuable tool that you can use. I mean, Huddle. Just FYI, if you want to give out some remotes for your loyal customers like us, by chance, that'd be great. Because those remotes are very expensive. We can plug you at any point. A remote would be great.
You're a remote guy, huh?
Oh yeah. I mean, I use the keyboard and stuff, but a remote stand up would be perfect.
Any coaches out there listening to this? I'll do a little tutorial here. Do you use these keys?
Absolutely.
To shuttle back and forth?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So you're already on it. Never mind. Okay. Any coaches out there, if you're not using these keys right here, these arrow keys to shuttle, if you don't get a wireless keyboard,
you're missing out, buddy.
And use these keys, you don't really necessarily need a remote. You get really good with those keys, man. You're in business. So that's my TED talk for the day. We'll see you back here. No, but yeah, I'm glad the technology is out there. I'm glad it's going to help and all that good stuff, and I'm glad it's going to be available. The new rules. What do you think of the 2-minute warning? I know there's I didn't think it was that big a deal. I think people were making a big deal about it, but I didn't think it was.
I think the people who don't coach are making a big deal out of it because it's like I said, everything's going to the NFL type rules. It's basically helping college players get ready for the NFL.
Yeah.
Everything that they're doing. Quarterbacks with the earpiece. Using the pads on the sideline. It's basically just getting them. You're used to doing that. For when they do go to the NFL. So I'm fine with it. I was actually surprised because, like I said, playing NCAA, the clock. I was running the play and it just stopped, and I was like, "What the hell?" It was like 2-minute warning. I was like, "Am I playing Madden?" I was like, "Oh yeah, we get 2-minute warning now in college." So I think it's pretty cool. I think you're still timeout. If you got 3 timeouts left, you basically have 4 now. With the 2-minute warning. So I'm good with it.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I think it's fine. I don't think it's gonna. People think it's gonna. There's some people out there. I'm sure there's people out there that are like it's gonna ruin college football.
That's nothing but adding an extra commercial, maybe.
Yeah, it might slow down the broadcast for about 2 minutes.
Yeah,
because it's a 2-minute commercial block. But I think people are just worried that it's going to be, kind of a watered down product like the NFL's kind of gotten to with all the commercial breaks. I wish the NFL didn't have so many commercial breaks, but if that's my biggest gripe, then they're doing pretty good, huh?
Hey man, somebody's got to pay the bills, man.
Yeah, I know.
These commercials pay the bills.
They're a multi-billion-dollar company, so I guess you got to do it. So I'm fine with it. Gives me a chance to go pee and go refresh my beverage. So, yeah, I'm trying to get my hands on college football 2025. Do you have it or have you just played it?
I have it. I broke down and I bought a whole new console. So I hadn't bought a video game since like 2011. It's 2024 right now. The last NCAA I bought was the one that I was in. That was in 2011 with Tim Tebow on it. So it's been a long, long time since I bought a whole new console and 2 bought a video game. But it's pretty cool. I think it's very, very it's really hard. So if you ever played NCAA, this is the hardest game that they've come out with since 2014 was the last one. So it's nothing like the 2014 NCAA. Just as a heads up. But it's really cool. I like the announcers on it and things like that. So very, very, very the players. I think it's really cool that they actually have the names of the kids. So you know exactly who's playing and things like that. That's really the coolest part to me.
Yeah.
That they actually have the names of the players and things like that on them. So if you don't know all the players on your favorite team, now you do.
Yeah, and you can. I love that you can download a custom playbook.
Absolutely. So I have mine somewhere. I might download it here after a while, but
Is it just a PDF? Like, how do you
I'm not sure. All
how
my,
does it work? Because
my
I would love
video
to.
game tech savvy friends have not told me the cheat code to that yet. So
Yeah, I would love to just take my playbook that I've written, the last one that I wrote, and put it in there, see how it fares. But yeah, that's really cool. So, but yeah, like I said, fall camp coming around. We talked a lot about the offense, but I mean, defensively, Michael Williams is Malachi Starks going to be? Is he going to be ready?
I think he will be. The biggest thing defensively for me right now is just making sure we don't stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
Because obviously Etienne had his deal. We just had two guys. Um, you know, I've never seen this before where you get bonded for $26. This is really getting out of hand. I don't really know what's going on, but guys, if y'all could do me a favor, just please slow down. I'm trying to cause everything to be reckless driving.
75 and a 45, 30
It's-
miles over the speed limit
yeah, you got to
is
be smart.
unacceptable.
You got to be smarter. It's not worth it. You know what I mean? And whether you're in a hurry or whether you're playing around, I mean, it's at some point, if this is what we're getting in trouble for, um, as bad as it is to say, it is a fixable thing. We're not getting in trouble for drugs and alcohol and things like that, but this is starting to become you know stupid now because everybody keeps doing it. So at some point we just got to stop. We're too talented. We need everybody right now. We don't need any suspensions or things like that. So
Well, one dude got boot. DJ Daniel got the boot.
yeah. So
So if that doesn't wake people up, I don't know what will.
yeah.
But
And I'm pretty sure he had some other stuff going on too, and that was just the final straw. And that was like, look, bro, you gotta go.
yeah, I mean, yeah, you're probably right. But still, I mean, hopefully, Kirby's gonna have to make an example out of somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna have to happen, and and it can't be the walk on guy. It's gonna like Smell Munden. He had an opportunity to use Smell Munden as an example. As much as that would have hurt,
Yeah.
people would have listened on that one. People like, wow, Smell Munden's going to be all conference.
Oh, I'm sure that punishment right now for those guys is hell right now.
I'm sure Sinclair. I'm sure they probably wish they got kicked off
because Coach Smart does not strike me as the all right, guys, let's not do it again. He strikes me as all right, get on this line because we finna get this work in.
We're gonna remind you that it's a bad idea to audition for Fast and Furious 11.
And we're about to have some character building. That's what I tell my players all the time when we do stuff after practice. Well, I don't believe in conditioning after practice because we do it during practice. But if we do, I'm going to make it as miserable as possible because you didn't work during practice. So if he's anything like me, I'm pretty sure that his character building is phenomenal.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that he tells Sinclair to be like, dude, make it hell. There was one time
when the strength and conditioning coach is handling punishment, and those guys sit in their office they're coming up with these workouts, so you already know that the elevator is just spinning up there. But you mean to tell me I get to come up with punishment too? Oh.
Well, he had who was it? They had it was Brenton Cox, wasn't it? That he had in the stands during the spring scrimmage. It was a spring scrimmage, and they were doing wheelbarrows not up the steps, up the bleachers in the stadium. Yeah. Freaking hilarious. In their pads. Like they were pulled from practice. I think you let them take their shoulder pads off, but like they were in their pads for the most part. They were doing all kinds of stuff.
It's one of those things that's just like, come on, guys. But anyways, Everett, I think Everett's going to have a good season this year.
Yeah.
I think Stackhouse, that those guys up front are going to do a phenomenal job this year.
I'm
I
excited
think
about that.
one thing about our defense is that those guys play hard. I mean, you got to find a guy for Bullard, Smith. You got to replace those guys. But you know, at the end of the day, Bolden came in, made a splash. Jackson's still there.
Mhm.
Um, you got some veteran guys on that side. It's just a point of guys stepping up in those spots. The talent's there. It's just you're playing in front of 100,000 people now instead of your normal 5,000 people in high school. If you're a freshman, can you come in and contribute on right now immediately? So I think for defensively, talking to Coach Lanning when we went up there for the um, not Coach Landon, Coach Schumann, when we went up there for the 707, that's what he said too, is just finding those guys in those right spots and putting them there. Make sure they know what's going on, things like that. So defensively, I think this is the first time where I'm like, we just got to go play ball.
Mhm.
There's no spot you just like, oh my God, what are we going to do? It's just one, who's that guy that's going to go there and
Mhm.
handle it.
How do you communicate? Like that's been the biggest to me, that's been the biggest issue. Like all the big plays that are hit against us, most of them, some of them are just because the other team has scholarship players too.
Mhm.
Um, but some of those plays, you're just like, God, if they just he thought it was cover three and he thought it was cover two, and they he zigged, he zagged, and it's one of those things. And if they would have just communicated, it all would have been well.
Mhm.
And things like that, or you have a breakdown where a guy hits the wrong gap, and next thing you know, you got two guys in the play side B gap, and next thing you know, the run hits backside A gap, and the linebacker is sealed, and it's a big gain, and things
Mhm.
like that, where little things, communication things, where didn't quite get the play call, didn't quite understand the assignment, this or that, and very fixable things is really kind of the point of that.
Absolutely. They're going to play hard. I tell my players all the time, I can't fix effort. I can coach some things up if you make a mistake, but as
Mhm.
long as the effort's there, eventually you're going to get in the right spot if you're moving fast. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And I can coach that. And I think that's one thing that, as Coach Smart has brought in. It's not an effort deal. It's just a point of knowing what you're doing.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And you're going to have a couple of new faces here and there, but I think they have enough veteran guys on the side of the ball that'll make the transition a lot easier. Than
Yeah.
having the wholesale defense just leave. When Jordan and that group left.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean,
but
they
in
went
the
through
year,
growing
at the end
pains.
of the time, we still didn't skip a beat though.
No, we
I mean,
didn't.
it's just just had some raw pieces in some spots, and the next year you saw how much better they got. You know what I mean? So I think it's one of those deals this year where we didn't lose a lot of people at one time. We still got some veteran guys on that side that can get the job done.
Yeah, no doubt. And and the drop off was going from 6 points a game to 17 points a game, which
It
still
happens.
three-quarters of the country would love to only give up 17 points a game.
Yeah. I bet people in the Big
On average.
12 would be licking their chops though and give up 17 points a game.
The Sherman soft stuff. Yeah. So speaking of those Big 12 guys, Texas and Oklahoma are in the conference. Two high quality teams. But do you think they're going to be at least in year one as they get acclimated to this league? They're going to me, and I think this is our advantage against Texas this year, is that they're not quite acclimated to the rigors of weekly football in
Mhm.
the SEC, and they're not used to that. They're going to falter some because of that. Is kind of what I'm thinking. They're still going to be really really good,
Mhm.
but they're going to be dog tired by the time they get to mid October.
Absolutely. I think the most ready team to be in the SEC is definitely Texas. Playing Alabama the last 2 years
Mhm.
and things like that. But at the same time, you're not playing the same caliber of team week to week, you know, in the Big 12 like you are going to be in the SEC. Even if you take a team like Vandy, the Vandys and the Kentuckies and, even Arkansas, those guys are really, really physical and they are better than a lot of teams in the Big 12. You know what I mean? So you're going to see a quality opponent each and every week. And I think, like you said, this year they may struggle, they may not, but I think they'll struggle more just because they're not used to seeing a quality team each and every week.
Yeah, I mean, shoot. I mean, every team you can go through the entire SEC, with the exception of probably Mississippi State, and say their problem for you could probably pick out 3 things that would make that team a problem to play against.
Mhm.
I don't think Mississippi State has that. But Florida's physical. They've got a lot of speed and they've got a really good quarterback. But I mean, they really don't have much else. So I think their team will kind of fall apart. Like Kentucky, they're always physical. They've got Brock Vandegrift now. They're well coached, but they're mid. Like Vandy has a lot of quality guys from the transfer portal.
Mhm.
Brand new infrastructure. They have a secret weapon in Jerry Kill,
Mhm.
which if those of you in the coaching community know who and what Jerry Kill is, and they have an absolute dog at quarterback. And so a lot of people saying Vandy, a lot of people picking Vandy to finish last. It still may happen, but it ain't a slam dunk for them to finish last.
Yeah, I think they'll be a much better team this year.
Yeah. They were pitiful last year.
Yeah.
But like they had no identity. They had no identity. They didn't know what they wanted to do. They had these receivers. They didn't know how to get them the ball. They didn't know what kind of quarterbacks they had. Clark Lee was very, very detached and just seemed like he kind of got lost in being the CEO and kind of got overwhelmed a little bit. He's kind of stepped back down a little bit and become defensive coordinator so that he's more engaged now.
Mhm.
That's going to help him. Arkansas, I think, is going to be much better. I don't like Bobby Trino. I think he's a scumbag, but he's really good at coaching football. And Taylor Green's going to be a really good quarterback, so I think they're going to be pretty sporty. If Bobby Petrino is not trying to slime his way into the head coaching job there, Mississippi State, they just don't have much of a chance. Ole Miss is that game.
Ole Miss is Ole Miss. You better bring a popcorn. It's gonna be a good one.
They're good, but then they've got to prove it though. And then South Carolina, I just don't see it with them.
Yeah,
But they're tough.
They're gonna be tough. They're gonna win some games that they shouldn't. So
they're physical. They play hard. They're just
Oklahoma's defense is. I think they'll be fine. I think offensively, I think is where they're going to struggle.
I just think fatigue for those two teams is just going to play a major factor this year.
I'm pretty sure their offseason workouts have been geared toward exactly what you're talking about, as far as making sure that, hey, all right, guys, we got to get together now.
Yeah, Mizzou's going to be pretty tough.
Mizzou's going to be good.
They're going to be tough. They're going to be good. I like Mizzou. And then Tennessee, man. Like they got a great quarterback. They just got to finally put it all together.
Mm-hmm.
If they want to win some things. But I'm excited, man. I'm excited for this conference slate. I'm excited for week 1 against Clemson. I think that's going to be a chance for Georgia to kind of put an exclamation point on the start of the season.
Mm-hmm. I love the fact that we're not starting against like a warm-up game.
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that it is a primetime game against a primetime team.
We're in that primetime noon slot. Big noon kickoff.
It's going to be different not hearing, the CBS crew.
Yeah, that'll be weird
this year. But at the end of the day, football's football. So it doesn't matter who's announced it or not. But it's back and it's coming. It's approaching really, really fast. We're about like a month out right now.
Yeah, we're a month away, I believe. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be fun times here in just a little bit.
Yeah. So here's an idea. This is kind of off topic a little bit, but here's an idea that we kicked around on SEC after dark. Before, I don't know if I've talked to you about this, but like the whole way, like the FCS games
mm-hmm.
and what to do with those FCS games because they're so important for those schools. The idea that we kicked around was having a spring game against an FCS school and not playing an FCS school in the fall.
I could see that.
And using that, like pay these FCS schools and you take care of your in-state people.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Like Georgia can play Georgia State.
Georgia State's
Kennesaw,
not
I think.
FCS.
Oh, oh, that's right.
It would be
All
Kennesaw
schools.
for at least a year.
Kennesaw.
And
Yeah,
if you don't have one, you just go get the closest one to you. But
yeah.
Kennesaw is going to be FBS pretty soon, I think, is what I'm hearing.
Next year. Next year.
Yeah. So
No, this year.
I,
This year.
so I think the only one we have in the State's Mercer, right?
Mercer's the only one that I can think of.
Mercer and Georgia Tech, right?
Yeah. Bumblebees.
Oh God. Yeah, Mercer is I think the only FCS school, unless Valdosta decides they want to move up.
Oh no. West Georgia now is an FCS school.
They're FCS?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Well, they are. I think Valdosta State's going to move toward that model
I bet they will.
eventually, but not. I hadn't heard anything on that.
They need to. They're good enough to. So
Yeah.
we just thought that would be a pretty good idea for them to kick around that.
That'd be sweet. That'd be a good. That way, you're playing against somebody. I mean, that's always the fun thing here. Since they allow us to play somebody else for the spring game, you just kind of model it however you want to, different situations, things like that. But at least you're going to get somebody different.
Yeah. And you get everybody a chance to play, and you could televise it. I think people would watch that. I think you could make a lot of money for your school, for your
Absolutely. People, a lot of people come to G Day just because it's G Day, but just think if you're paying, somebody else, you're playing a different team.
Yeah,
I mean, people are going to come to that.
You're going to get those people coming. So that would be fun. Like you could do discount ticket. Like it doesn't have to be a huge deal. Like a regular game, you can make it still discounted and all the stuff that you do for G Day. You're just inviting more people to your campus. So I think that would be fun. I think that'd be good. And then your lower level games are against G5 teams instead of FCS teams. And then you have what, 3 non-conferences, 2 Power 5s in a G5 or 2 G5s in a Power 5. Probably 2. I would say 2 Power 5s in a G5. And just if you're going to go full NFL model, just go full NFL model, and you play the best of the best. You play a P5 school.
That's it.
You play P5 schools, and that's it. Like there's no like Michigan playing Buffalo, Kent State, and Central Michigan to start the year. There's no Alabama playing. There's no like Georgia playing who we played last year to open the season. Where we played Ball State and UAB and Tennessee Tech or whoever it is we played. That people are all up in arms about. So I think that would be a good idea.
I like it. That would be a great idea.
Have you paid much attention to recruiting?
I know we got about 7, 8, 6 at least. Well, they're averaging 6'5", 315 monsters. That's on the average.
Yeah,
I know we got at least 2 6'8" jokers coming in, 6'7" guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be
monsters. We got a bunch of Amarius Mims coming in.
And I'm here for it. The most recent guy we got from Parkview, he's listed at 6'3". In a way, 6'3". That dude's a freaking monster. Cortez Smith.
Yes, he's a large human being. It's amazing how big these kids are these days.
I know. What's in the water, dude? Like,
I don't know. They are huge.
Like Mason Short. That's a funny name because he's 6'7".
Yeah.
Mason Short, 6'7", 295. He's from Evans. We played against Evans when I was in high school. That was a region game going from Fayetteville to Augusta. Go figure, right?
Right.
Your boy Isaiah Gibson, 6'5", 240, defensive end.
He's every bit of it too. He's a phenomenal player. We got to keep him in the bag.
Yeah, I think we will. Is there anybody that's like hard after him?
I'm pretty sure there are.
But like, what I mean by that question, I guess I should have asked it a little better. But like, is there somebody that's threatening?
And not that I've heard around here. I mean, he switched from USC, so obviously, if you're switching from a Cali school that has all the money in the world, to come to Georgia.
He just doesn't want to be soft, is all it is.
Yeah, I mean, nobody wants to go all the way out there to get
Just
eyes beat in the Big Ten.
Just to be Charmin soft. Yeah, we've done a tremendous job, man. Rashad Johnson from Florida, Bushnell, Florida, 6'2", 190 athlete. That dude's outstanding, man. From Sumter, Florida. Do y'all play any Florida schools? Do y'all cross over the border?
Not this year. We don't. They play like Childs or Tallahassee High, things like that, but not this year. With the change of all the classifications now, because they took 7A away, just going back to 6A, so everything kind of changed. And most teams got 8 teams in the region. So somebody's going to be really good and not make the playoffs.
Not many non-region games these days.
Not for some teams. We've only got 4 non-region games this year. We usually get 5.
Dang. Well, it'll be a tougher road, huh?
Yeah, you got to prepare every day, baby. We're in the SEC now.
Yeah, that's right. So you said Fitzgerald's in y'all's region?
Fitzgerald, Worth
TCC.
County. No, TCC, they're in 5A. But we're going to play them because obviously they're 5 minutes up the road from us.
Yeah.
And then we got, who else in that region? Brantley County, Jeff Davis, Sedworth, Bacon County. I feel like I'm missing somebody. I think that's it. But we played TCC, Cairo, Pelham, and Brooks.
Nice.
As a non-region. So all those teams made the playoffs last year. So,
jeez,
we're it's not this schedule ain't for the week. I tell you that.
No, it's not. It's not for the faint of heart. That is for dang sure. So, yeah, I'm excited, man. There's going to be a lot of things that are happening for this football season. I think with your team, with Georgia, just in college football in general. With I think between the video game and the new rules and the new playoff format, I think this season probably has carried more buzz than any season in the last 15 years.
Oh, for sure.
I think the one exception was the year they went from BCS to the playoff. Yeah. I think that year had a little bit of buzz, but not the buzz that this year has.
Yeah, this game coming out has propelled college football, and it came out right at the right time, right before fall camp starts, right before the football season starts. So I mean, they planned it really, really well. And with the new playoff model now, here's the thing: playoff model now, teams are having something to play for. The 12-team model, I think, is great. If you get teams that, hey, this team had a pretty a Liberty, can get in this year, things like that. So I think it's great. So all those teams like, man, they should have got in. Well, they're in now. Now we can see what they can really do. So I think the NCAA got it right with this. And there's always some things that they can fix, but I think the game is kind of moving in the right direction. As long as they can, keep tampering away from everything, I think everything will be fine moving forward.
Yeah,
everybody has the right idea.
Yeah,
where the game is going, but still this NIL stuff and tampering is still kind of the bigger issue.
Yeah. Absolutely. So they just got to clean that up a little bit, but I think that's, something that they can most certainly do. So it's going to be fun to see kind of how it all plays out over the course of time. How the playoff format's going to look as far as teams running the gauntlet, the G5 representative, how well do they do? Is it going to be the SEC showcase? there's a lot of questions there too. So I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, bring your popcorn because it's gonna be a show.
Bring it. Yeah. You better be ready. Better it ain't for the faint of heart, that's for sure. There's going to be a lot of people. Yeah. There's going to be a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of buzz. That's for sure. There's going to be a lot of that going back and forth. So, but anyway, man, I know you're tired and you guys got practice tomorrow. Are you guys in full gear tomorrow?
No, we're in acclimation period, so we're still in shells right now. But we also got like teacher stuff to do because we start school on August 5th.
Well, enjoy all your in-service stuff. I'm going to enjoy my last few days of summer because we start on Monday here in Nashville. So, well, until then, we'll see you back here. And as we get closer to the season, you'll see us more frequently. And we look forward to it, man. But we'll see you back here next week. If you like what you heard, subscribe at Believe in Dogs. Find us on social media at TroopStar28, at Coach Burton 36, and at Coach Corey Burton on Instagram. Find us. Make sure you subscribe, like, all that good stuff. And we'll see you back here next week. And until then, go Dogs.
Go Dogs.